Welcome to the Moon with Voxx, a place where psychic phenomena meet science and world culture. Today is July 7th, and it's a 7-7 day, which is pretty lucky, in 2021. And so here we are once again. And I thought we would take some time today to figure out some information about sun signs. Since everybody and their brother now thinks they're a freaking astrologer, and they're not. And how bad is it? I was watching TCM, for God's sakes, and now
Wait,
they
what
have
is
a
that? The
freaking.
country channel?
I wish. No, it's the Ted Turner Classics Company. And they got
Oh.
some English bitch on there pretending to know astrology. Lana Turner was a Scorpio. No, she wasn't. And this is what she was like. No, she wasn't. So everybody just shut up and stop pretending you know how to do astrology because you don't. And by the time people maybe listen to the show for a few times, maybe they'll start figuring it out. Astrology is a lot more than sun signs. In fact, that's probably it's like saying you have a license plate on your car. Everybody has a license plate on your car, but all the numbers are different and they're all from different places. So, sun sign, I don't know, I call it zodiacism, where you base your opinions on people based on what their sun sign is, when it's actually probably the least important of the signs that make up a person's horoscope and personality. So, we have 12 signs, and they're divided into four elements, which is like air, fire, water, and earth. And each one of those elements has three different signs ruling it. So you have basically like light, medium, dark, forms of coffee, as my friend once, Antero Ali, used to talk about. Like
I
the
noticed
20,
that. Can I
yeah,
cut in real quick? I noticed that everything seems to have an octave or whatever the opposite of an octave is. Everything seems to happen logarithmically.
yeah,
Uh,
and it's true. And then there's these other fine-tuned kind of dials, as you say. So like 0 degree is like, you know, the super most basic. Now you can have some real genius 0 degrees, but basically when a sign is at 0 degrees, it's at its weakest. And by the time it gets to 15 degrees, which is right now, the sun's at 15 degrees Cancer, which is supposedly sucks, which I can attest to that right now. Then you have 29 Cancer, which is absolute insanity. Just forget about it. You go through all the signs, every single one of the 12 signs has 0 to 30 degrees, and the degrees are actually like minutes. So when you add them all up together, you get 360 degrees of the zodiacal circle. So each sign gets 30 degrees till it moves into the next sign. So you have the basic 10 planets, yes. The sun is considered a planet. The moon is an asteroid, but it's considered a planet. And Pluto, yes, sorry, bitches. Pluto is a planet. Any one of these 10 planets can be in any of the 12 signs at any time, at any one of those 30 degrees. And based on how they interact, those are called aspects. So there's different aspects. There's like a sextile, which is one away, like two away. Oppositions, which are like seven away, like an octave. And then there are some various other ones, squares. So all of these kind of energies, the planets and the different signs create these energies, and these you can translate them into feelings and tendencies. So that's the basic idea of it. But if you want to understand the dynamics and the different elements, you're going to have your fire sign, which is the first one is Aries, the second one is Leo, the third one is Sagittarius. Now, interestingly, the second one of every one of these groupings is a fixed sign in general. And what that indicates is it's immovable. And then the third version is mutable. So you have cardinal, which is like Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. Those are the directions on a compass. Then you have fixed, and those are like one away from the cardinal. and they create like crosses, your astrological cross to bear, you might say. Then the mutables, which are Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces. Crazy people. All of the crazy people are mutables, like Jeffrey Dahmer. All the great serial killers, mutable.
Yeah. I love how all the great serial killers, the ones you've heard of, mutable. It's
And then
funny
of course,
though.
yeah, it's interesting. And people like Charles Manson fixed Scorpio at the cursed degree.
Yeah,
Now, here's
19.
the thing. He's probably one of the most famous serial killers of all time. He never killed anybody.
Yeah.
He stabbed Leo Bianco in the shin after he was dead. Not my idea of a serial killer, right?
Yeah.
So, you have these different archetypes too of all of the sun signs. But the most important thing that people are going to figure out is where the sun was. That's important, as we know. But what sign was rising? Your ascendant. That is where you first took your breath, and that is the stamp. That's the time of date stamp on your life. And interestingly enough, very few people know their true birth date, because usually the nurse will like, oh yeah, what time is it? Oh yeah, it's 5:06. Oh yeah, well he was kind of born around 5:03. Nobody's really looking at the stopwatch when you're born.
Yeah.
They make approximations. Now, the poor people in the Middle East, yeah, this is relatively new situation. For the last maybe 50 years, they have not been putting the date and times, well, actually the
No,
time of birth.
I have a story about that.
You
So,
do?
and
What is it?
absolutely. So this is completely true, at least for people from Afghanistan. So when I worked for the Marine Corps, we would have language instructors come in to teach the Marines Pashtun and Urdu, which are the languages spoken in Afghanistan. The whole idea is, without too much exposition, you want the Marines to know enough Pashtun to say, stop the car or don't shoot, things like that. It's called tactical language. So what
Right.
we would do is we would bring in interpreters from Afghanistan and then hire them to teach the local Marines on Pendleton basic tactical language. Nothing fluent, just enough to get your point across. And I was talking to a guy's name was Dr. Burhani. He was a funny dude. He was short, curly haired, very Afghan looking, always dressed in a suit. And at any rate, his birthday came up, or somebody's birthday came up, whatever the context was. And he said, "Oh, my friend," I asked him, I guess, when we were born, maybe something like that. "Oh, my friend, it's not like that. In Afghanistan, we were all born on January 1st." And I was like, "Why is that?" And he's like, "It's easier to remember." And no, it's true because I don't think they have the same calendar that we do, but when they come here and they have to fill out their paperwork, they have to put down their birthday, and nobody knows their birthday in the English calendar, right? I think that's the Gregorian calendar, right? Or is
Yeah,
it the
the
lunar?
Gregorian.
So it's the Gregorian. So they don't know what June is, but they know every Afghan there on the base apparently knows January 1st. And so they all put that down. Every one of them has the same birthday.
Well, that's really interesting. You know why? January 1st is one of the first part of Capricorn, right? And
Okay.
Capricorn is like, if you were doing the tarot, it's the devil card. And Capricorn energy is exactly in opposition of the sun sign of the United States, which is Cancer.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you put the entire country as an enemy.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Wow,
that's an interesting way to think of that.
that's messed up, dude.
And just like an accident of fate. Like that's just the date that they decided on. Apparently, this is very, very common in Middle Eastern countries that don't observe the Gregorian calendar because they have
Yeah,
to fill out their paperwork to
and
get their
the
green card.
Iraqis and the Iranians, anytime I try to do their charts, but here, this is fun. My great good friend and astrological mentor, Larry Pines, the great Laurencio, showed me this really cool technique. It's called rectification. And what you do is you take the dates that you actually do know, like your mother's birthday, your brother's birthday, the day your dog died, your little sister's cat's birthday, somebody's wedding, all these huge important dates. And you do know the dates that those things occurred. And those dates and those events tend to happen in very specific houses of the zodiac.
So you can infer
Yes.
you can infer somebody's possible with reasonable accuracy somebody's rising sign based on the way that events transpire in their life
Yep.
post rising. Yeah, I
uh,
can believe that.
Yeah.
That seems incredibly seems like a heavy calculation on the part of the astrologer in that regard.
Yeah. And you know what? I tried doing it myself back in 1997. I have a big affinity with the spirit of Jeff Buckley, as you know.
Mhm.
And he was the first person that I used it on. And he tragically died on May 29th, 1997. And nobody had found his body yet. And the internet was just brand new. Nobody knew anything. So I did a seance with the spirit and I asked his ghost to tell me what his rising sign was so that I could do his chart and find out how he died. Pretty messed up, right?
Yeah, can I guess?
Really? Yeah, really weird. So guess what?
What?
His spirit told me I was born in Orange County. I knew what day he was born because that was public information, November
Sure.
17th,
Yeah.
1966, but nobody knew what time. And he said I was born at 10:49 p.m. I did a whole chart. You used to work in my office back when I did this.
Mhm.
Weirdest thing was I wrote a letter to his mom. She came to visit my store when I had the store, and we were just crying all about it. And I told her I had done his chart. And she said, "Oh, that's really interesting. Since you don't know what time of day he was born." I said, "Well, here's the chart." So we sat down in my office and I pulled the chart up. And I said, "Jeff told me that he was born at 10:49 p.m. in Orange County, California." And she said, "No, that's incorrect. He was born at 10:50 p.m. in Orange County." And she just looked at me and she said, "Wait a minute. Did you already do this chart?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're looking at it." His spirit told me the time of day he was born. And his mother, the only person on the planet at that time who would know that information specifically, corroborated it.
Yeah,
And
that's
she
pretty.
just looked at me like I had just like really come from the moon.
I mean, yeah, this isn't like a daily conversation you can have with somebody where you can guess their deceased son's birth time from how old was he? Was he in his 30s?
He had just turned, I think he had just turned 30. Yeah, just
Yeah,
turned
so I
30.
mean, it's not like you pulled it out of thin air and it was right. I don't think it quite works that
No.
way.
And then here's how I figured it out. I said, what could possibly have happened? And again, nobody really understood how he died. The Saturn was in Pisces, and it was conjuncting the moon in his eighth house.
Which is death, isn't that's sex and death? How does
Yeah,
that go?
sex and death,
Because that's Scorpio
taxes.
stuff.
Yeah. So he was a Scorpio with Leo rising, and he just decided to, just go swim in the Wolf River tributary with his combat boots on and 20 pounds of keys in his pocket, you know.
Can I cut in real quick on that? This is interesting for the hypothetical audience here, is as to the importance of a rising sign, because in my very basic knowledge of astrology, I understand the energy of Scorpio. It's darker, it's deadlier, it's more sexual, and that's the sun sign. That's your vitality. The core of you will tend to be predisposed to these types of characteristics, but the rising sign is what you present to the world. And so, in the context of Jeff Buckley, and I don't know how true this is, but I hypothesize that being a Scorpio with the Leo rising, with Leo really ruling over entertainment, I guess some type of media, but that type of exuberant, outgoing, gregarious performer type energy, which seems to be generally true, that
Yeah,
he's a perfect example of a Scorpio with Leo rising. He's an entertainer on the outside, but a dark soul on the inside.
that you could not have said that better.
And that's just proof of the importance of the rising sign, which is in my opinion, which is that there's a weird type of cosmic irony at play here, where I'd argue 90+% of people don't even know what that is, but they think I'm a Leo and I'm an entertainer. Well, that's a little bit more complicated than that, or it can be.
Definitely. And the really weird thing is, so um, because we were going to put up some of the blogs that I did about him, but the really weird thing was last time we spoke, there was July 4th. and we were talking about him again. And that night, I felt really compelled to just go back and check out his chart again, just for the hell of it. And now it's public record. And now it's public record that he was born at 10:50 p.m., even though Jeff told me it was 10:49. Yes,
Well,
I'm a
he was
crazy
there.
person. But here's the really weird thing. I noticed that he had 19 degrees Leo rising. And after that, for the rest of the day, I kept getting calls from clients that brand new clients. And every single one of them had 19 degrees Leo in the chart. I thought, dude, that's just like really weird.
So I understand the significance of 19 Scorpio, but is it the number 19 in each sign? Is the 19th degree of each sign a specific type of energy?
No, not at all.
Okay, okay. I was curious about that because, well, I guess I was just curious.
Yeah, it's interesting, but that degree does square, make a fixed square with 19 degrees Scorpio, which is kind of interesting.
That
But
is. Now, what if you don't have anything at 19 Scorpio? It's still squaring to that point. Is it still significant?
yeah, because here's the deal: the day, every single year that Scorpio is at 19 degrees, try not to laugh, is 11/11.
Wait. Okay, that's not going to jive in my head because time is not constant. I mean, just counting for leap year, that would seem like that would throw that calculation completely off. And so that's just every time, no matter what?
Every time, no matter what.
That's so bizarre because that's a fixed progression,
Yeah.
30 degrees per month.
Actually, no, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't progress. It just stays there.
All right, I remember you talking about that. But this is
Yeah.
still very interesting to me because, the years are different. Time is different. Leap years throws everything off every 4 years. Is it 4 or 7? I don't remember.
Every 4. But check this out. Don't you hear all these mamby-pamby, air fluffy heads talking about angel numbers?
Sure.
11/11, 22, 33. I'm like, bitch, please. No,
Okay,
that's not what it means. And if I may be so bold, and yes, I will. I said, all right, there's something really weird about this 11/11, and everybody's like, oh, setting my clock to it. It has to do with this Plebeian star conspiracy, just weird stuff. We can get into that some other time.
Did you say plebeian star?
Yeah, the Plebeian, not plebeian.
Oh, I was gonna say. It's just like this really basic star.
It's plebeian star. It's a plebe. All right, so you've heard of Astaroth, the Astaroth Command?
No, but Astaroth is the name of a death metal band that I liked when I was younger. So,
well, Astaroth is an ancient female demon from the Old Testament, but I digress. The weird thing is that these people made up this weird star religion, okay, and they worship the Pleiadians from the Seven Sisters, the Pleiadian constellation. And I think it's this really holy, spiritual vibe, 11/11, and everybody's worshiping 11/11, and girls are breaking out their crystals and whatever. But the thing is, I finally meditated. There's got to be a really important reason that people are talking about 11/11, but they didn't understand what it was. I finally figured it out. It's not a joke. The end of the world was supposed to happen on December 21st, 2012. Remember that?
that was the end of the Mayan calendar, right?
Exactly. Everybody thought that was going to be the end of the world. But guess what time that actually happened?
11/11?
11/11. On December, on December, what was it? Yeah, the end of the year.
Yeah.
12/21, 2012 at 11/11 was the end of the Mayan calendar.
Wait, 12/21, 12/21/12.
Yeah,
Huh.
2012, the end of the world.
But there's something extra interesting about that just now occurs to me, which is the Mayans had their own calendar. They had Year of the Reed, Year of the Alligator. They didn't use the Gregorian calendar, so it's interesting how it numerically lines up with a number with so much of a pattern to it. Like theirs was the end of the Year of the Reed. I know that to be true.
Yeah.
And that was when their calendar just ended. That's as far as they could project. And so the end of the
No, it's
world
not.
was,
No, no, it's not.
oh no?
Yeah, because I'm an insane, crazy person who talks to spirits, and they tell me stuff. The only difference between me and the regular crazy people is the stuff that they tell me actually turns out to be true.
Northridge.
So, with that in mind, the calendar does not stop, it restarts.
It's a wheel. It's still a wheel, right?
Yeah, so December 21st, 2012 was the beginning of the new Mayan calendar.
Yes. The year of the Kardashian. The the literal end of the world.
You're correct. And check this out. Wait till you see what other episode exact dates that line up for Pluto at the very end degree of Capricorn and how all hell's gonna break loose.
Yep, I see that one coming. And that's
Oh
a slow
yeah.
burn all the way to the last degree, isn't it? Because he moves
Oh my
slow.
God. Oh, here's the deal though. Our Pluto return happens exactly on April 8th and April 9th of 2024.
Oh, it's that close?
Yeah, but here's the deal. It's only 28 degrees. It's not
Does
even the final degree.
so does Pluto
Oh,
then go retrograde and take another 50 years to meaningfully
no,
move?
no, no.
Oh.
That's going to be the absolute revolution right then. It's going to start 3 months before then, and it'll hit direct on those 2 days, which I think is interesting. Those are the 2 days of the first days of the Book of the Law. But
That's extremely interesting. That was written how long ago?
yeah, it was written on April 8th and 10th in 1904 in the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt.
1904. Well, real quick, that's a good show idea, in my opinion. Something that
Oh,
I'd love to hear
absolutely.
you talk about is apocalyptic apocryphal. Wait, the apocryphal apocalyptics. Wait,
Well, not only that, I'm sure we can come up with a really crazy title for it, but I actually plan on going to Egypt for that.
yeah, I don't blame you.
It'll be the 120th anniversary of the writing of the Book of the Law. It ought to be very. And now I got some really cool friends that live there, so I guarantee I'm gonna go. That's a show for you right there.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it. I'll tell you what, we're out of time today, but
Yeah.
that is
But
very interesting.
yeah, well, anyway, I've been having a lot of fun chatting with you and stuff, and just letting everybody know. Thanks for listening. I want you guys to come back to Moon with Voxx, but that's it for now. And until then, check me out on all the social media platforms by going to voxx.org, voxx.org/about. And I have all my social media links there. So check it out. And you can also write to us at to the moon with voxx@gmail.com. And we're also going to have our phone number up pretty soon too, so that you can check that out. And we're going to be broadcasting from Devil's Tower, right?
Excellent. I can't wait.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot of fun, Jeremy. It's great to talk to you, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.
Everybody have a mystical, magical day.